All right, and then we'll just, Adam, who is our running this, and you could tell us when we're
The
public.
stream is now live.
Right.
Okay, great. Well, welcome everyone to this organizational meeting for the Committee on Ethics for the 117th Congress. For those of you who are joining us virtually for our public session, we are glad to have you with us. I'm Ted Deutsch. I represent Florida's 22nd Congressional District. I'm honored to be serving as the chair of the committee in the 117th Congress. I want to welcome our new members, Representatives Veronica Escobar, Mondaire Jones, David Joyce, John Rutherford, and Kelly Armstrong. I would also like to welcome our returning members and thank them for their continued service. And before turning to our official business, I'd like to quickly highlight some of the other work that the committee has done thus far this Congress. Though the committee is officially organizing today, our professional, nonpartisan staff has been hard at work since the start of Congress, providing members and their staffs with ethics training, issuing informal guidance and formal advisory opinions, and reviewing privately sponsored travel requests. We greatly appreciate the committee's nonpartisan staff and all of their work helping us to advise and educate the House community on the rules, laws, and standards of conduct that apply to our service in Congress. And with that, it's my pleasure to turn it over to our ranking member, Jackie Walorski, for any opening remarks she may have. Jackie?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As the newly appointed ranking member, I want to express my sincere desire for this committee to work in a fair manner in the 117th Congress. The committee got off to a rough start this Congress with a matter being brought directly to the House floor in an unprecedented way, and without first going through the committee's bipartisan investigative process. I expressed my disappointment then on the House floor. Today, the Republican members of the committee voiced our disappointment and concerns to the chairman in a letter that I would like to read into the record. Mr. Chairman, I am hopeful that we can set a better example. Mr. Chairman, the Committee on Ethics for the 117th Congress holds its organizing meeting today. The Republican members of this committee stand ready to work with the chairman in a fair and impartial manner. However, we must express our sincere and significant disappointment by the chairman's partisan and unilateral actions on the House floor on February 4th, 2021. That day, the chairman brought House Resolution 72 before the full House without precedent and without proper committee consideration. The majority did not have to refer this resolution to the Ethics Committee. The majority could have brought this matter directly to the floor as a privileged question, and the question of removal of a minority party member from her assigned committees would have been a swift vote on the House floor. Instead, you chose to completely bypass the bipartisan nature of the committee and undermine the committee's fair procedural framework. These actions by the chairman of the committee are significant, given the rules of the Committee on Ethics forward specifically set the following tone of the committee. The Committee on Ethics is unique in the House of Representatives, consistent with the duty to carry out its advisory and enforcement responsibilities in an impartial manner. The committee is the only standing committee on the House of Representatives by membership of which is divided evenly by party. These rules are intended to provide a fair procedural framework for the conduct of the committee's activities and to help ensure that the committee serves well the people of the United States, the House of Representatives, and the members, officers, and employees of the House of Representatives. The chairman's actions are also concerning given your personal expression of how you planned to lead the committee. Chairman personally and publicly committed to a model of bipartisanship in 2017 before the House Administration Committee. You described, quote, a tone of bipartisanship and collegiality that all of us who served on the committee appreciated, end quote. You continue to this model saying, I plan to follow that model. Mr. Chairman, you're not following that model, and in doing so, you have undermined our trust and a very important service to this institution and to the American people. The committee has publicly warned of this toxic risk before in 2012, following a particularly contentious investigation. The committee publicly expressed the necessity of bipartisan cooperation within the committee leadership specifically. The committee stated, quote, "Unlike any other committee, this committee avoids partisan legislation concerns and policies and must have a bipartisan cooperation for the committee to fulfill its constitutional mandate to police the members, officers, and employees of the House. Involving the committee, then only to bypass it, violates your model of collegiality and the mandated bipartisan cooperation by which the Ethics Committee should operate. This is not how this committee should function. There's a reason that neither party holds a majority on this committee to avoid one party or the other weaponizing the committee's purpose for use in a political and partisan fashion. There is a reason that the phrase chair and ranking minority member appear 38 times in the committee rules. To ensure the committee is consensus driven with decisions made jointly by the chair and the ranking member. Speaker Pelosi recently challenged your caucus to, quote, draw strength from the ongoing conversations that we continuously have to build consensus and ensure that the legislation we put forward is respectful of the thinking and values of all the members, end quote. With this repeated message of unity by your leadership, there is no reason to abandon bipartisanship now. Mr. Chairman, we ask you today, how can you build that trust so that the Committee on Ethics can move forward with this important, unique service to this institution? I ask unanimous consent for this letter to be submitted for the record.
I thank the ranking member for both the recitation of that letter and for the reminder that reminding us that this is the first meeting of the House Ethics Committee of this Congress. Also giving me the opportunity to restate exactly what you just included in that letter, which is my commitment to the bipartisan operation of this committee, just as it has operated in the past, and my commitment to operating not only in a bipartisan way, but in a collegial way with respect for all of the members, their views, their ability to speak out in whatever way they think appropriate, all with the goal of helping to ensure that this committee can do its work, not only to enforce the rules, but to uphold the standards of the House, and by so doing to also recognize and raise the public's trust in the work that we do, the integrity of this body. That's what this committee has always attempted to do. That's what I attempted to do last year as the chairman, and that's what I will continue to look forward doing with your help, Ranking Member Walorski, in this evenly divided 5-5 committee, with, of course, the goal ongoing as it has been throughout our time on this committee and throughout my time on the committee, even before, to do take the actions that we take in not just a bipartisan manner, but as often as we can, in the overwhelming majority of instances, in a unanimous manner. That's what I commit to. I appreciate the opportunity to engage in this exchange with you. And with that, I will ask Tom Rust, the committee's nonpartisan staff director and chief counsel, to give us a brief summary of the matter before the committee in open session.
Thank you, sir. The House rules require that at the organizational meeting, each committee of the House, the committee must adopt committee rules in an open session. The committee's nonpartisan staff has conducted a careful review of the committee's rules from last Congress. Staff believes that the rules from last Congress are sufficient. Therefore, the nonpartisan staff recommends no substantive changes to the committee rules of the 117th Congress. If members have any questions about the rules, I'd be happy to address those.
Thank you, Tom. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Pursuant to House Rule 11, Clause 2A, I move the committee adopt the committee rules for the 117th Congress as presented on the record. Pursuant to this motion, staff is authorized to make technical and conforming corrections to the committee rules as necessary.
We have a motion. Is there a second? We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
The motion being seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Let the record show it was a unanimous vote. Is there another motion?
Chairman, pursuant to House Rule 11, Clause 3C1 and Committee Rule 5C, I move that the committee return to executive session for purposes of considering any remaining business on its agenda.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
The motion is seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Let the record show it was a unanimous vote. And I want to offer my thanks again to all who joined us virtually today. And with that, the public session of our hearing today is adjourned.